Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms. And I am joined here with superfan Riley Goldman. And this is the week, what is it, week 12? I've already lost track. Week 12 edition of it's the preview of Jungle Talk. So
Who
uh,
dat?
I don't know about you, I'm still pretty kind of numb. I mean, we went from Super Bowl aspirations to not knowing where we are. I mean, you know,
I don't even want to watch this week. I'm gonna be honest.
yeah, it's going to be hard. Listen, I watched through all the Marvin Lewis era. I watched through the you know, you weren't around to or old enough to live through the lost decade. So, I mean, when you watch the games, we had Corey Dillon and Carl Pickens and Blake had his moments. So, but that led to just a game or two every season that were that where you kind of like we surprised. That was it.
Mhm.
We were that bad team that won, but it's hard. So before I forget, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. We do these is by fans for fans. It always has been. You can follow Riley on Twitter at Sports Balls. I will put it on my Twitter account. He'll be tagged up there in the corner. It'll be pinned to my Twitter account, and you can get Riley's ID and you can follow him on Twitter. This is by fans for fans. We don't ask for anything. Just subscribe. We don't ask for Patreon money. We don't try to sell you anything. It's just support the channel. Subscribe, hit the bell so you get the alerts, and give us a thumbs up. It helps us out with the analytics. So, well, yeah, no. So I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm still numb. It's been 5 days, 4 days.
I,
I don't know. I don't know. It's not, like I said, it's hard because and we looked like we would have won that Ravens game. If, we were
yeah,
looking like it wasn't going to be the way it turned out. But, so this week is an odd one. I don't know. What order do we want to do this in? We want to talk about the injury report? Do we want to repredict our
I mean,
schedule? How do you want to do this?
I think we should start with the injury since that's the most important and probably biggest piece of news because there's so many after a Thursday night game.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Going on a long week. Yeah, first of all, Burrow's listed. I don't even know why he's listed as did not practice. He's done for the year, so he shouldn't even be there. And obviously, Higgins didn't practice. We're doing the show Wednesday. We'll get in before Thanksgiving, so we've only had the one day, and so I don't know if Higgins was due to come back. Like I said, I don't know if it makes a difference. Reader
Reader says
practice.
illness.
Yeah, Reader didn't practice, but that's due to non-injury related. Cam Taylor-Britt hurt his quad. He did play. Didn't he play
Mhm.
the rest of the game on
He did play the
so
rest.
I expect he'd be ready. Everybody else is limited in full, but obviously the big piece is Burrow not being there. There's
Yeah.
we're playing them on a bad week. I wish they had fired Matt Canada a week later. So they're going to be kind of energized and trying to play for their new OC, and they're going to have a new system. So maybe things will spark better on their offense. This was a team that's been gained in every game, and I think that streak might end this week. I really do. We've been susceptible to the run. The new OC is going to come in. I know they're going to try to run the ball more, take pressure off Pickett, and I know the play calling is going to be probably more aggressive at times. So it's just not a great week. We all saw how the Raiders responded with Antonio Pierce. Now, granted, that was a new head
Mhm.
coach, but still, teams
Yeah.
kind of get a little more bounce to their step when this kind of stuff kind of happens.
I mean,
So
it's also projected to be a rain game, so it's already going to be more run heavy, especially the way Pickett's been playing. New OC, they're going to try and get the run game going to then open up some of the pass game. But it's going to be a run game, and our run defense last week was horrible.
right. No, and I had this down here. I said we struggled against the run, so we may be in trouble. That was the exact thing I
Yeah,
wrote and I didn't even know about the weather. So that makes it even more so. The weather might help us a little in that it might level the playing field a little bit, but I gotta say, and we've said this from the beginning. We talked about Browning in the preseason and how disappointing he was. We really hoped that the Bengals would do something different. I gotta think that the majority of the NFL teams out there would not be comfortable with Jake Browning as their backup, but we were. And I heard somebody on Twitter early on call that ownership malpractice, the way we address the backup quarterback position.
Yep.
It's very depressing because he didn't look good in preseason, and that was against
No.
much lesser
Backup.
competition. Yeah. So I want to think back to the Ryan Finley Monday night game. You want to think back to that, but even if that happened, how many games could we pull that off?
Not enough.
So yeah, not enough. So I really I just got to temper my expectations. And the one thing I'm not, believe me, guys, I've been a Bengal fan since '68. I've been through the lost decade. I've been through the Marvin Lewis years that were very frustrating. And I'm not quitting on this team, but I in the back of my head, when we are losing, I'm going to be thinking to myself, okay, well, this will help us out in the draft. That's not, we only have 5 wins, and
easier schedule next year and have
yeah.
a better draft pick than we were projected. So.
Well, yeah, I hear people say, "Oh, Jake Browning can do this." Like I said, I just don't have a lot of faith. Jake Browning to me right now is a dented can with no label. We have no idea what we're going to get,
Yeah.
but it's still. But here's the thing: this isn't a fresh cut of something fresh from
No.
the produce or the butcher counter or whatever. It's still a canned good. So it's not that great to begin with. And now you don't know if you're getting, cream corn or you getting fruit cocktail. I mean, you don't know what it is. And so we'll get some questions answered this week, and we'll address that on our recap. But
yeah,
we really have no idea what we're going to get. But let's take a look at the remaining schedule, and tell me, you can go first if you want. Tell me how many wins you see.
I mean, we'll get to the score projections later, but I think we'll have a win here. And I think the only other game we can get a win is Indy. I don't think we beat anyone else. I mean, even Josh Dobbs with the Vikings is looking better and their defense is good enough that I think Jake Browning will not be able to carry us. And unless the Browns just are already clinched into the spot they want and have no reason, and they'll bench all their starters, that's the only way we get a win that week. So 1, maybe 2 weeks.
So you've got the Steelers, Indy, and maybe the Browns. So you've got actually
maybe
2, maybe 3.
2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But not even excited about that Colts game, because especially, I mean, Minshew's one of the better backups in the league.
Oh, I wish if we had this conversation, would be completely different.
100%.
If we had a Gardner Minshew, if we had gone and gotten a Taylor Heineke, if we had gone and got, and I'm not saying
Josh Dobbs.
Or Josh Dobbs, exactly. Guy started many games for Cleveland last year. He played the whole first part of the season, and looked pretty good against us in the first half against, in Arizona. So
and that's with Arizona's play calling, and their defense, who just couldn't stay in the game. But
yeah,
I mean,
I
imagine on our team.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I think this is probably one of our most winnable games is this week.
Probably.
Because after this week, we have a week of film of Browning for the next teams to see. And this guy, let's bear in mind, this guy was an undrafted player who sat on, I think it was Miami's, let me see if I have it here. I think it was Miami's practice squad. He sat there for 3 years. So that's when I saying that we didn't take the backup quarterback position seriously. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. We didn't. Jake Browning. Let me see if it's got it here. But I remember he sat on stuff. I think it was Miami's. Practice squad, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, this isn't a guy with this enormous skill set. He doesn't see the field. He doesn't anticipate things. It's hard to be excited, about Browning being in the game. And then because of that, you put a week of film up, You don't think Peterson's gonna, Jacksonville? We've got, like I said, Minnesota, we know is gonna need the game. They're gonna need the game because they're in playoff contention.
Yeah,
Um, you know, at Pittsburgh, Kansas City, we're not going to win that game. They're definitely going to need that game after the receivers failed them on Monday night. So yeah, I see like two games maybe, and one of them would be Cleveland. I think we could win one Pittsburgh or Indy, one of those two, and then maybe Cleveland if they don't need the game. So at best, we're looking at probably a 7-win team. So part of me, I hate to say
at
it, part of
most.
me is thinking, let's get the top 10 draft pick. We're definitely going to have the last place schedule. So let's get a better draft pick. Because it's not just the first round. We'd be drafting in the second
Yeah,
round, the third round. I mean, it'll make a major difference on the type of
100%.
players. Yeah, especially think about it. We were never thinking that we were going to be in that draft position, adding people for Burrow. So,
No,
this could be let's as you're watching going out, as we're watching the rest of the season, let's keep that in the back of our minds as Bengal fans, so we can feel a little better about it. It's you know, like I said, it's frustrating. It's hard to be excited right now. Now, maybe Jake Browning goes out there and does a Josh Dobbs, maybe, but he
Mhm.
doesn't have anywhere near the experience that Dobbs has.
He was on Minnesota 2019 and 2020.
So it was Minnesota. It was their practice squad. Okay, so I was
Yeah,
an M. I don't know why I had Miami in my head, but I did read. But he sat there for years on a practice squad. This wasn't
yeah,
anybody that. So I wish we talked about it all year. I wish we had addressed the backup quarterback position more seriously, but we didn't. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of something positive to say, and all I can come up with is the draft pick. So I don't.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
could you? It was a late round pick swap to pick up Josh Dobbs for the Vikings. Could you have not? Would we have not been willing to do that? I mean, or
Well,
another backup for something similar?
think about this. Will Greer is active on the Patriots roster now.
Yeah,
Okay. So they're already looking. He's already going to get, and he looked pretty good playing for Dallas. We picked him up and got him and had him for a week or two and didn't offer him a contract, did absolutely nothing to ensure that we would keep him on the team. And
yep,
New England picked him up, just plucked him right off our practice squad. And now he's on their active roster. He would have been a nice option to look at coming forward.
100%.
So I really have to fault. This is on the front office. This is on Zach. This is on Duke. This is on Katie. This is on all of them. Not ensuring that we had a better backup to start with, and then not even holding on to Greer when he fell right in your lap, because of the Trey Lance trade. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it's I don't want to play the blame game. We are, but I won't play it. But it's just hard to be excited about the rest of the season. And looking at the schedule, it's hard to think there's any way we beat. And we're being realistic here. Because if you want smoke blowing up your what, then go to a rah-rah show. We're real here. I don't see us winning in Jacksonville. I definitely don't see us
Mm-hmm.
winning in Kansas City. If we're able to pull off the win here, I don't see us winning in Pittsburgh.
No,
So what's that leave us with? That leaves us with this Sunday, Indy, and I don't see us. I don't see us winning in Minnesota because they're going to need the game, and their
no,
defenses look stout. So there'll be enough footage for them to be able
definitely.
to shut us down. So, like I said, it's this week, maybe Indy, maybe Cleveland. So you're looking at an 8-9 team. Um,
At best.
like I said, do the math. It's just, it's like I said, it's you shake your head. So, but give me something positive. You got anything else? Because I've been a downer. I don't want to be a downer, but
I mean, there's a good amount of the hit, especially defense, that either didn't play or, I mean, it's mostly rest, so they'll most likely play this weekend. But I mean, Minka Fitzpatrick didn't practice, and it was a hamstring. James Pierre was a limited. I mean, Cam Hayward didn't practice, but that was rest. George Pickens did not practice with a shin. So, I mean, they already have a banged up, and they don't have a great wide receiver room. Pickett's not great. If they can have their number one out, that always helps,
Yeah.
especially if CTB ends up not playing, but
I think
not
CT
looking great.
plays. I think our defense keeps this close. Let's talk specifically about this game. I think this is a low scoring affair.
100%.
Without Burrow, we are similar to the Steelers in terms of we're going to have trouble putting up points.
Mm-hmm.
That's simple. The defenses are going to dominate this game. Both teams are going to try and run. You said the weather's bad, which means we have a shot to maybe steal this game this week. I'm wearing my number 9. I know there was a call out to do the 9 outs. Did you hear about that? They want everybody wearing Burrow jerseys. That was what everybody was asking for. So it was supposed to be a 9-out game. I don't know if that took on any head of steam or if it actually happens. But also look for, we were getting the better announcing crews going forward through the season. We will get the lesser crews. So get ready for some bad announcing. It's just what we're going to get.
Bad announcing.
Remember who's the linebacker?
Bad football.
Yeah, well, it's going to be this is going to be ugly. AFC North games tend to be ugly to begin with in terms of, but they're exciting. This is going to be one of those. This game could decide who's in the cellar for the end. These two Steeler games could decide who got the third place schedule, who's got the fourth. But we'll see. I think any offensive issues they have are negated by the fact that they sent Matt Canada packing. I think the fan base has been calling for this for over a year. So their fan base is excited. They're getting us with no Burrow, so they know they can come in and smack us around. TJ Watt's probably, drooling right now. He's probably wiping the spit off his chin. So, all right. You want to, so we've each got you for like 1, maybe 2 more wins. So that makes us a 7-win team. Yeah.
We'll take the draft pick. That's all we can say.
That's what I want everybody to focus on. Let's develop. Also, one of the things I would like to see, I did read that Jordan, that Battle is going to be getting a majority of the snaps now. They're moving him up, and we should be playing a lot more of our younger guys right now. That's why I said if T. Higgins doesn't play, let's get our kid from Princeton out there catching balls. Let's get reps. These guys need to get reps. That's how because these are live snaps. This isn't preseason. So let's take advantage of these games, especially if we don't win Sunday. Going forward, we need to get our see what we have with our players. See what, and get them valuable reps, because these are going into Jacksonville next week. That's a valuable experience to start. So let's look at the rest of the season. I'm trying to make lemonade with lemons. So let's use that for the rest of the season. And then bear in mind that it'll be a lot more exciting draft in April than it has been in years past. So, All right. Well, do you have anything you want to add or?
Yeah, no, it's all bad. I've mentioned most of it. I mean, Matt Canada being fired, it'll be interesting to see if they can, whether he was the issue or Pickett's the issue. But Kenny Pickett versus Jake Browning, a riveting football game as always.
Yeah.
But
I had a friend of mine who's a Steeler fan over. I was telling you before we started recording, and he's already moved on. He said, all right, we missed. We need to start looking for a quarterback. He doesn't believe, he doesn't see Pickett feeling he's just not showing that second year step. He looked like he maybe would be able to do something last year, maybe making a move, but he's already kind of down on Pickett. But let's see, it's but Pickett versus Browning, that's riveting football. We won't be flexed. Do we have any more primetime games? I'm looking at the schedule. Are they stuck with us in primetime at all? Yes.
The Monday night against Jaguar.
Is that a Monday nighter?
The Monday night.
All right, so they're stuck with us on prime time. So let's see what
Vikings game is a Saturday, Sunday flex. We'll get one of the bad times, whatever they consider a bad time for that. But
all right. So, but all right. Well, give us your score prediction.
Pretty low scoring. I mean, I think I said it earlier. Bengals win, but 16-13. I
You know
mean,
what? I actually had it the other way. I actually had the same score, and I was going to say it could be either way. I
100%.
could see the Steelers winning on a last minute field goal 16-13.
Yeah.
So, but I kind of had the same thing and I do think the Steelers break their uh record, the streak of being outgained in all 10 games so far. I do think that ends this week. I think they run for enough yards to where they outgain us. And I think Zach tries to protect Browning as best as you can.
Do we even have a third string QB on the roster?
They brought somebody up, and I don't know. Is McCarron? Can you look on your computer and see if McCarron's on
I'm
the
checking
active
right
roster?
now.
See if McCarron's on the active roster, because he would have been next in line on the practice squad to come up.
Yeah.
And we might not. We may see him in a couple weeks, depending on how Browning does. I'm not. Listen, I don't want everybody to think that I'm a huge downer. I would love to see him pull a Ryan Finley. I just don't know that he has the skill set. I really don't.
The active roster is currently Jake Browning with Joe Burrow backing him up. So they've either not updated it or don't have a backup. So
Right.
that's
So
where
we'll
we're
see
at.
what happens. They have time to bring somebody up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's our emergency quarterback?
I'm probably mixing at this point.
They just run the
Or
wishbone or something.
in theory, it could
Wildcat.
be Tanner Hudson,
Yeah.
former QB.
Yeah. So that could be. He might. You know what? That's probably your emergency QB. At least he's
Possible.
taking snaps. You want
Yeah.
somebody who's comfortable going behind center and taking snaps. So yeah, Hudson. He could be our new MVP. Who knows? Hey, if he plays quarterback and he's successful and gets us a
Devin's
W,
getting the jersey.
I will have a Hudson jersey. I guarantee it by the start of next season, just for the story, right? It makes it worthwhile. So
We have to
fantasy wise,
Devin has to change the bet. If Tanner Hudson catches or throws a touchdown, he gets the jersey.
Yes. Well, I am, in terms of fantasy, I would not start any of the Bengal wide receivers. Mixon is probably the only person you could start in fantasy on the offensive side, because we are going to try and run the ball, and he's the true one. So they're gonna hand him the ball many times and try to get him as the center of the offense. So Mixon is probably the only safe start on this lineup going forward, at least until we see what we've got. You know what? Maybe Zach surprises me. I'm not holding my breath. And maybe and Lou is Lou, and maybe he does a game plan, but I almost feel like, and tell me if this isn't I almost feel like we're the Jets now. I mean,
kinda.
Well, we're kind of the Jets with an inferior defense, because the Jets defense is better than us. So the Jets defense has won them games.
Definitely.
Aside from the Ram game, I can't think of a game where our defense won the game. It was
our defense keeps us in games. They don't win games, though.
No,
is usually how it goes.
But I kind of know how Jet fans are feeling in that. I don't know. I'm not saying that Browning is as bad as Wilson. He's been benched. Is Simeon starting, or Simeon's the backup? But Simeon has now been elevated on their roster. So
I think backup.
He's the backup. So they'll be starting somebody else, and Simeon's the backup. But that just shows you how bad their quarterback situation is. Simeon was finished runner up to Browning. So not a lot to feel positive about, but let's see what we have, and let's watch our rookies. I'm excited to see Jordan Battle this week. I'm excited to see Turner, and I would like to see more of our kid from Princeton. So, and Charlie Jones, maybe our special teams. Let's start watching some of our younger players now, and let's see if some of our younger players get some more playing time, because that's something we should be doing with these games, especially if we lose a couple. Then if we lose the next two games, you've got to get your rookies out there. You've got to see what ingredients you have in the cabinet. You go shopping next year in April. So, and in March in free agency, and April in the draft. So that's how we turn this into something positive. So let's watch the game with new eyes and watch it that way. And who knows, maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe Browning pulls a Bridgewater and wins 3 in a row. I would not bet. Please, I have no.
I don't know if I even want it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I have no action on that. Part of it is even if we got to the postseason, I mean, what kind of noise would this team make in the postseason? I know Burrow said all the things he needed to say about, Josh is there, he's ready to step up and all, but that's what he's supposed to say. They're
Yeah.
supposed to keep you enthused. They have season ticket holders, that they need at the stadium. So, hopefully we're shocked. I'd love to be wrong. I think I don't remember in the video, but I think I picked against us on I think both Jake and I picked against us on against Baltimore, and we said, please, we want to be wrong. But and we almost were for a quarter and a half, we were wrong. So,
Yeah.
but hey, Blastly, what's your take on the guy from Barstool that put $100,000 bet down and is now trying to sue the Bengals? I heard he was, making noise like he was going to do that. It's like, yeah, it's called gambling.
There's no words for it.
Yeah, it's called gambling. Okay.
Yeah.
I have had guys get hurt. I had last minute, news. I've had weather jump in where I've had the over and all of a sudden the weather report was wrong and I've lost. If it were easy, they'd call it easy, but it's gambling, so it's called gambling. So, but all right, please follow Riley on Twitter. You see his at Sports Balls right there with 3 L's. And please like the show, give us a thumbs up, and we will see you with a recap right after the game. So, and everybody have a safe and a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Okay? Take care, everybody.